Hello, welcome to the St. Bon's bus. I am Nova.
I am Selena.
And I am Harper. We are the first graders at St. Bon's.
We will celebrate Catholic Schools Week in a few weeks.
There is a note coming home about Catholic School Week.
Let's find out more.
Thanks, Harper. We have a lot of fun activities planned for Catholic Schools Week. You can read all about them on the note that came home. You will notice there is some important information needed at the bottom of the note, including if your family will be coming to the potluck on Monday, January 31st. We also need to know if you have a parent that can help drive for our bowling activity on Wednesday, February 2nd. Make sure to show your parents the note so they can fill it out and send it back. Back to you, girls.
Bowling sounds like a lot of fun. I will show my mom this note.
It is time for our riddle.
Yes, I love Riddle Day.
Here is our riddle. What game do 4 elephants in a car play?
This is hard.
We might need some help.
If you guys know the answer, write it on a piece of paper with your name and give it to your teacher, or you can put it in Mrs. Hammond's riddle box right inside the library on the black shelf.
We will see if you got it right on Friday's show.
Here is the riddle one more time. What game do 4 elephants and a car play?
Plus, fans, if you have some good riddle ideas, please give them to Mrs. Hamling.
It is time for our Mass Minute with Mrs. A.
Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to Mrs. A's Mass Minute. I want to tell you a little bit about our readings that we're going to hear on Friday. In the first reading, we're going to hear about King David, except he wasn't a king yet. He was just David. But the king at that time was King Saul. And King Saul and David were not getting along very well. King Saul decided he wanted to have David killed. So David is out in the wilderness with all of his companions hiding from King Saul. Well, one day, David goes into a cave to take a little break from running, and there in the cave, lo and behold, King Saul, with all of his army, sound asleep. And all of David's friends say to him, "Oh, this is your chance. God provided for you. You can kill King Saul and you'll be safe." And David's like, yeah. So he gets his sword and he goes over and he's all ready, and then he stops. And he says, King Saul was anointed by God. He was favored by God, and God chose him to be the king. For me to kill him, to kill one of God's anointed kings, that would be a huge sin on my part. So he chose not to kill King Saul. But what he did was he cut a tassel off of his robe instead. Now, I told some of you, remember, he cut off the tassel so that later, when King Saul was ready to kill him, he could say, "Hey, look, I could have killed you a long time ago, but I didn't. I cut this tassel off of your robe." But even later, David felt guilty that he cut the tassel off. And the reason he cut the tassel off was because he wanted to find a way to take care of himself. He forgot that God had already told him, I'm going to take care of you. But David was still looking for his way to make sure he took care of himself. Eventually, David and Saul did see that David had spared him, and they reconciled. And after that, David told all of his men, we're not going to do anything to hurt King Saul. He's an anointed person by God. We are going to stand and respect him as God has asked us to. Now, in the gospel reading, we're going to hear Father read about how Jesus had all these followers around him, but out of all those followers, he chose 12 to be his apostles. And those apostles were sent out into the world to carry on Jesus' mission. They were also God's anointed because Jesus had chosen them. And we are also God's chosen. We've also been anointed. When we were baptized with water and the Holy Spirit, and Father took the chrism and he anointed us. We became priests, prophets, and servant kings, just like Saul had been, just like later when David became king, just like Jesus' apostles. And now it's our job to continue to go out into the world and carry on Jesus' mission. And that mission is to just be ourselves and to love other people the way Jesus wants us to love them. And we do that by being our best self when we talk to people, our best self when we're helping someone, our best self when maybe somebody makes us a little angry and we want to get even, but instead we trust that God's going to take care of it. So when we go to Mass tomorrow, or on Friday, when we go to Mass on Friday, take some time, first of all, to tell God, thank you for choosing you as one of his missionaries. He chose every one of us as one of his anointed, and we get the privilege to go out and tell other people about how much he loves us. Well, that's all for our Mass Minute today. We got great stuff to pray about, great stuff to sing about, great stuff to think about. All right? I'll see you at Mass on Friday. Have a great day. Bye.
Thanks, Mrs. A.
Remember, we want to be prayer warriors for Team Jesus.
Not sloppy slugs.
Let's see what is for lunch tomorrow.
Lunch on Thursday will be sloppy joes on a bun, baked beans, and fruit.
Remember, you can bring your own lunch or eat the school lunch.
Our weather for the next few weekdays is expected to be chilly.
Don't forget to bring your coat, hat, and gloves.
And bring your water bottle.
Let's stand and pray the St. Michael prayer.
Well, that's all that we have time for today.
Thanks for joining us on the St. Bon's Buzz.
And check out these pictures and videos of our friends. Look up!
Where did she go?
Rah! Rah!